Now to the historic flash flooding being called a 1 in a 1,000-year event.
Scenes like this played throughout the small town 16 miles west of Baltimore.
The heaviest rain in 80 years is triggering deadly mudslides in South America in what's supposed to be the driest time of year.
The entire city of Fort McMurray has been ordered to evacuate from a massive fire.
Plumes can be seen from space, traveling 3,000 miles.
On the size and scope of those deadly tornadoes.
Overnight, more than 30 million Americans are dealing with a deadly string of storms. Overnight in Alabama, up to 5 strikes hitting every minute.
There were 12 earthquakes reported today.
Up to 20 earthquakes have shaken Arizona in the last week and a half.
A strong earthquake shook Myanmar. It had a magnitude of 7.0.
One day after the 2 quakes in Japan, the third hits Ecuador.
The 6.1 magnitude quake shook the Pacific island of Tonga.
8,000 dead turtle doves in Italy, hundreds of birds dead in Rockwell, Texas, 500 red-winged blackbirds in Louisiana, 100 birds sweep, 3,000 dead red-winged blackbirds in Arkansas, several hundred dead in Kentucky. On the fish, several hundred snapperfish in New Zealand, thousands of dead fish in Florida, 40,000 devil crabs in the UK, 80,000 drumfish in Arkansas, 2 million spot croakers in Maryland in the last 2 weeks.
In the UK, 40,000 velvet crabs littered the coast. Brazil, 100 tons of lifeless fish floated. And in Sweden, jackdaws fell in the dead of the night.
So what's going on? What causes all this? If we Google Project Cloverleaf, we have 1 million results and tons of images and stuff. It is called the most dangerous weapons testing program in world history and is the same what people call chemtrails. Now chemtrails, 5.5 million results and loads of information. Geoengineering, almost 2 million hits, plenty of info and vids. And finally HAARP, the absolute weapon as they call it, also almost 5 million hits. Now, could something backed up by all this information not exist? Let us watch what people think and do about it.
Yes, sir, and that's my belief. As bizarre as that sounds, if somebody had told me that that equipment even existed 10 years ago, I would have thought they were nuts.
I think the chemtrail issue, what they are now calling geoengineering, is one of the most important issues that's confronting mankind today. As you will discover as you learn more about this topic, the survival of the human race literally is at stake. The physical survival, the level of health that people will enjoy, the survival of the planet. If you're concerned about the environment, this is your issue. And yet most people have no idea that it's even going on. It's long past time to make this issue known to the public. There have been many videos made, there have been many statements made, a lot of websites put on the internet exposing the truth about this issue, but none of them have really put it all together. And it's past time for that to happen.
Che cosa sono allora le scie che imbrattano i cieli? Le cosiddette scie chimiche sono un fenomeno artificiale. Sono rilasciate sia dai velivoli commerciali, aerei passeggeri e cargo, sia dagli aerei militari. Contengono numerosi inquinanti, in primo luogo gli elementi chimici degli additivi usati nei carburanti aeronautici di nuova generazione, cioè bario, alluminio e manganese. Le analisi chimiche condotte in molti paesi hanno accertato la presenza di altri elementi e composti. Torio e cesio radioattivi, rame, titanio, cadmio, gallio, silicio, litio, cobalto, piombo, nickel, ferro, etilene di bromuro, agenti patogeni, funghi, batteri e virus. Staris 450, il trimetilalluminio o il supercarburante Al-Ice. Non possiamo omettere la questione inerente ai filamenti di ricaduta, che immancabilmente sono stati spacciati per tele di ragni migratori volanti.
Our journey started in San Diego, California, where thousands of scientists, engineers, policymakers, and journalists gathered for the American Association for the Advancement of Science conference. One of the topics was the artificial manipulation of the Earth's climate. During the meeting, scientists spoke about the plausibility of implementing geoengineering campaigns throughout the world. When they were asked about existing aerosol programs, they stated clearly that no such programs have ever been implemented.
This is just ordinary snow water, and people are drinking this stuff when they're hiking on the mountain. This is 61 times over the government limit. Barium, 83. Strontium, 383.
So once it gets to the aluminum oxide stage, it just forms a plaque within your arteries and shuts down life,
And again, we've already seen in 5 years soil pHs in this area that have escalated 10 to 12 times, and we can prove that conclusively. Well, this is not speculation.
And so as you accumulate aluminum over time, it causes major neurological damage because it ends up as aluminum oxide that's essentially stuck in place and can't be flushed out by normal systems.
At the core of everyone's condition, there's always some level of toxins. And aluminum is known to have cancer-causing effects. I think that we should be working on taking more of these toxins out of our environment instead of adding more toxins in. It's very concerning.
My name is Karen Johnson. I served in the Arizona State Legislature for 12 years. When you see a plane fly overhead, there's a trail and it goes from one horizon all the way to the other. It widens out and fills the whole sky. And know that whatever is in that is falling down upon you and upon your animals and upon the earth. And if people don't start really waking up and facing the fact that we've got people that are doing terrible things to us, and we had better wake up and fight back now. I care about what is going to be left for my children. Why is this being allowed to be sprayed continually all over the United States, all over the world? The incidence of Alzheimer's has just skyrocketed.
A friend who's a firefighter up says that the wildfires now that they're fighting are way beyond anything they've seen before in intensity. When you look at the air samples and you see the fine particles of aluminum, which is very flammable, and magnesium settling on the trees, this is causing unprecedented savage wildfire.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Before you get into that, could you just introduce yourself and tell us all who you are for the people who listen to the recording and don't know you?
I'm with the website geoengineeringwatch.org. Michael Murphy and myself, there's a few of us that are part of that site. I believe that the planet is in full-blown meltdown because geoengineering alters wind patterns along with HAARP, which then alters ocean currents. Now we have ocean currents that used to turn south from the Atlantic before they went into the Arctic. Now they go straight into the Arctic. In some places in the Arctic in the last 30, 45 days that have been 50 degrees above normal. They can and do create massive cooling events over huge areas, but it absolutely appears to be at the cost of a much worsened overall warming. I believe right now that what they have triggered is so cataclysmic that they now are in total desperation trying to cover up what they've helped to cause if they don't allow the planet to respond, if they don't allow the hydrological cycle to resume, quit poisoning the boreal forests, quit shredding the ozone layer, our future looks bleak. Methane is the greatest source of carbon. This one reservoir alone in the East Siberian Shelf is thought to contain some 10,000 gigatons of methane. It's this frozen methane on the sea floor. If only 60 of that 10,000 gigatons release, that would increase by 400% the total greenhouse gas to date. If any significant percentage of that reservoir releases, it's game over on planet Earth. The reservoir that's releasing in the East Siberian Shelf of the Arctic is massive, and it has the potential to extinguish life on Earth. Shredding the ozone, altering wind currents, releasing methane, poisoning everything that lives, the boreal forests, which are the lungs of the planet, the northern latitude forests, Siberia, the Pacific Northwest. The devastation is cataclysmic. And so now you have these forests that were the lungs of the planet that were a carbon sink that absorbed carbon. Now they are a carbon source. They're emitting carbon because they are dying. So, I mean, there's nothing that's not being harmed by geoengineering. It is harming everything. The species extinction rate today is somewhere between 100,000% of normal and 1,000,000% of normal background extinction. That's between 1,000 and 10,000 times normal background. We're losing as much as 200 species a day, as much as 70% terrestrial extinction, and perhaps over 90% ocean extinction. So, this is no joke.
My name is Sofia Xenidis. I am 17 years old. It is quite scary to know that the air we breathe is not what it's supposed to be. That the food we eat and the water we drink contain traces of those substances which are sprayed out over all of us as though we were being poisoned like insects. The feeling that this is causing me are feelings of deep anger and rage. I don't want to be poisoned. I don't want to be infected with cancer. And I'm just so angry that this global poisoning can be going on such a massive scale,